Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to the next movie of Anime Movie Month 3. For this one, we're going to be taking a look back at a movie I previously reviewed for the original Anime Movie Month, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. Now, I'm not going to try to compare it to either the visual novel or any of the Fate anime other than this one because honestly, I just want to see this as the movie itself, and see how it holds up on its own. With that being said, this movie was made back in 2010 by Studio Deen, and you guys all know my opinions of Studio Deen are very mixed at best. So, is this a good movie, or is this a god-awful movie? Well, let's find out. First up, the story. The story is awful. Okay, I'm not even gonna pull punches with this one. This is an awful story, and I'll explain why. First up, you skip entire parts of stories, I believe. Even though I'm not comparing this to the visual novel, I know there are parts they outright skipped or just skimmed over. And it really shows. I'm sorry, if you just see even the first 30 minutes of the movie, you'll know a lot was skipped. And you'll feel like it was skipped because it feels so rushed, but I'll get back to that in a minute. And what is explained feels like there's a lot of plot holes, just because of little things like that. Like, explanations feel only half-hearted, or just feel like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. And I know it's a fantasy type of thing, but seriously, there's no point to that. There's plot holes in your story. Fix them! What's worse, and the worst part about the story, the pacing. My god, the pacing. This pacing is some of the absolute worst I've seen, irregardless of anything else. It feels like it goes so fast that you have no time to process what's going on. Characters feel underdeveloped, I'll get back to that in a minute. And overall just feels like it... I'm sorry, the pacing just pisses me off. And the story in general just pisses me off. Sorry. The characters don't fare much better though, and that's the sad part. Because the characters could be good, but the pacing leaves them so badly underdeveloped, and the focus is given to characters that really aren't that interesting, which is a major problem. Yeah, you got a few interesting characters here and there, but still, it feels like it's so disjointedly focused that the characters don't really matter to me. I can't care about the characters in the movie. And that is really a major problem with this kind of anime movie. You need to care about the characters, and you can't. You can't process what their motivations are because the pacing is so awful, and their explanations of their ideals and everything is so half-hearted and just feels so bland and generic. I'm sorry, the characters are just as bad as the story, at least in my opinion. The animation is a little better. Not great either, mind you. It's got its own problems, like the fight scenes could look a lot better than they actually are, and some of the character designs could be a little crisper, and the backgrounds too. It's not terrible unlike the rest of what I've described so far, but it really, I think, could have used a little more work, at least in my opinion. The music is about the same as the animation. It's okay for most part, and there is one track I really like, titled Emiya, but aside from that, there's not much to the music either. And which is a shame, because I think the soundtrack of the 2006 version was a pretty good one for what it was worth. Now, should you watch this show sub or dub? Personal preference. Honestly, the dub isn't bad, but I think there's a lot of miscasting. Saber's voice actor, Michelle Ruff, for the dub, feels like a major miscast. More so, I just don't believe her in the role. I think the previous one for Saber in the 2006 adaptation, Kate Higgins, was a better fit for Saber, at least in my opinion. I will give two notable performances for the dub, however. The first being Jameson Price's Kirei Kotomine, though he's not in the film that much, which is a major shame, because I think he could have been a lot better. But I'll give performances where it's due, and he did a pretty good performance. The other being Liam O'Brien as Archer. Easily the best role of the dub, and the one given them probably the more focus than Kirei, so overall, that's good. As for the sub and dub debate, definitely go with your personal preference on this one. I don't know if there's too much advantage to watching the dub, but I did, and it's fine. It's passable. It's not great, but passable. Overall, yeah, this is a pretty bad movie. I'm sorry to Fate Stay Night fans, but this is a pretty bad movie. The pacing ruins just about everything, making it one of the worst pacings I've ever seen in any anime. The characters feel bland, generic, and boring, and underdeveloped, which is a major problem. The animation is average at best, as well as the music in general. Overall, at best, this is an average movie. At worst, it's horrible. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. I give Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works 3 out of 10. Honestly, this was not a good movie, and any enjoyment you would have had for just having a Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works anime is now taken away with a new Ufotable adaptations, and I think it's at least better than this. So overall, yeah, this is a pretty bad movie. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and I'll see you guys next time.